Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bill Levinson, Managing Partner with Levinson and Associates. With me today, we have the Joseph Lochran, our Marketing Vice President, and then we have Carlin Snipes, our Regional VP, that's joining us as well as our feature presenter of the day. Also, real quick, I want to wish everyone a happy Valentine's Day. Great time of the year. And I also want to mention one thing that it's an awful tragedy that happened right around the corner from here. It's the 1-year anniversary of the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High shooting. So we want to say a special prayer for all of the families and friends and loved ones that were affected from that awful high school shooting right down the street from here. So, all right, so we'll say a little prayer for all of them and get started here on a good positive note. What we're doing for everyone on the call is we are giving every agent that writes an application, okay, it could be the GUL or the term product with Pac Life, A+ rated Pac. Every single agent that writes an application, it doesn't matter what the minimum premium is or maximum premium. If you write an application, as soon as the app goes in force, you get 2 free orphaned leads on us. And I'll also add their commissions are some of the best in the industry. Okay, so I mean, literally, there's no one that's going to come out higher. Okay, we're not talking about final expense here. We're talking about the most competitive term in GUL in the industry today, and some of the best underwriting to go with it. So there's a win-win there with no small print or no gray area. And we are literally taking the expense on ourselves and giving every agent these free leads just for Valentine's Day and you joining us today in the middle of your Thursday afternoon. So we truly appreciate that. We know your time is very valuable. Every minute spent with us is a minute that you can be on the phones or visiting with clients. So we really appreciate it. And the goal is that you walk away with some great nuggets of information that will help you bring your practice to the next level. So next year, Valentine's Day, we're back talking again on our webinar, and you say, wow, you know, I started using this new product or this new great technology, and now my business is up by 20%, you know, whatever the case is. That's the goal with every single webinar. So we literally hold these every week, and your feedback and comments are so important because we build these things weekly because of you. Okay, so if there's something you love or you hate, please let us know. We have a section comment box typically in the bottom right corner or the top right corner, depending on your layout. But type in questions as we go, comments, feedback. We want to hear from you, please. Okay, so important. Okay, let's move forward here. Now, Carlin's going to talk about some great stuff, and I don't want to take away any of her thunder, okay? We've known Carlin for a long time. She's a great friend of ours, a great presenter, and with Pac Life, she has lots and lots of value and thunder that she's going to talk about. So we don't say that lightly. And I'll just say before we jump into this next slide, you know, Pac Life was always known for many years as a direct-to-agent company, okay? They were not set up on the brokerage side until recently. So with their name and ratings and financials, their term product, I'm telling you, is going to come up in the top 5 every single time. So you're going to see that is great. And then their technology is second to none. This is the old Genworth platform. I don't know if you remember, but Genworth was like the first one to come out with that quick ticket application and the very competitive term. Well, this is so Pac basically bought their platform and updated it and made it even better. So she has some awesome stuff to talk about. I know I get a little excited. It's just, I remember for years and years first getting in the business, you know, agents would say, hey, you know, what about this company Pac Life? And we would always market against them. You know, we would say, well, yeah, you know, they're good, but check this out. You know, look what we have with AIG or Transamerica, you know, whatever the hot button was at that time. But now, since they entered the brokerage space, they are a big player. So now I definitely encourage you to spreadsheet them against, our other top products and carriers, and you're going to see where they shine. Okay, so we wanted to talk real quick before we jump into the presentation about a little technology and why I think it's so important. I'm sitting at dinner last night with one of our top agents. In fact, he's on the webinar right now. And he's been in the business a long time, more of a veteran, okay, a little older than I am. He's been doing this a long time, top of the table, MDRT. And he says, Bill, I see what you're doing from far with all of your technology and social media marketing and branding and YouTube videos and, this new podcast and this and that. And he says, why are you doing all of this? What's the goal, and how can I start to use some of these tools in technology to help grow my business? And the first question that he said is, why are you doing all of this? And it's a question that's commonly asked by some of our agents that have been doing this a long time and that are a little older than I am, which is totally fine. And I love to answer questions like that. But I think it's so important that everyone on the call understands that things aren't the same. Right? It's a different world now. In the insurance brokerage space, first of all, has grown literally every year. As the career side shrinks, the brokerage side is getting larger and larger. So we are in the right spots, okay, number one. Number two, it's all about branding and marketing now and getting your name out there, because here's the problem. You almost have to play defense. If you're not online when someone does a Google search and they say, hey, who is this Bill Levinson life insurance guy, right? If you don't have an online presence or a website and nothing comes up when someone types in your name as a Google search, they're going to go to the next agent, okay? I don't care how great you are or how many times you've been top of the table, MDRT. It doesn't make a difference. You have to have an online presence, okay? Especially with the younger generation now buying insurance. They want to know who they're dealing with. They want to click that About Us button and find out who this Bill Levinson guy is with the cool haircut, right? They want to know about you, and they're going to search on Facebook and social media because they want to find the Bill Levinson page to see if this guy's legit and he is what he says he is, right? So everything is about branding and name recognition, and your website online is your brick and mortar storefront. That's your new storefront, right? And think of, if you don't have a nice McDonald's that's clean and that's in a great location, no one's going to come in. But just think about that from the 80s. Let's say you had a burger shop, right? And your burger shop is 2 blocks in a city. You don't have a good location. It's very dirty. There's no signage out front. You're going to go out of business. It's the same thing today with a website and with an online presence. Okay, there is no more storefront or brick and mortar. That's all coming to a close. Now, everything now is online. And if you don't believe me, think about Yellow Cab and Uber. I bring this example up all the time. Think about Blockbuster Video and Netflix. There's a Blockbuster by my house that went out of business, that's sitting there empty for years and years. Every time I pass it, I think about what Netflix has done to Blockbuster and to cable. Right? I mean, just think about that. They have changed the game. It's crazy how now you see these big A-list movie stars, they don't even have movies that are out at, say, Cinemark anymore. Okay, they're more focused and worried about a Netflix movie. It's unbelievable the way things are changing. So anyway, without ranting and going on and on and on, the point I'm trying to make is you don't have to be a Bill Gates. I'm not saying write new codes for software, and I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, at the minimum, have a website, have a Facebook page, start to make some videos, have your wife hold up your cell phone, or your spouse or your husband hold up his cell phone and record you talking about why this new Pac Life underwriting program is so cool by going up to $1 million without an exam, blood and urine, right? There's so many things to talk about now, and you have to have an online presence to be relevant. Okay, I promise you, I don't care how many years you've been doing this. So that's the reason why we're doing all of this, because we want to touch more agents across the country. So anyway, that brings me to what this slide is about, the brand new Bill Levinson Experience podcast. This podcast was just launched January of this year, and the reason why I wanted to do this, we have so many agents driving in their cars to appointments or driving to the office in the morning, or let's say it's a Saturday or Sunday and they don't have anything to do, or they're at the gym on the treadmill. Pop this in your smartphone. You can do a search, Bill Levinson Experience, and you can listen to this. And it was built to help motivate and train our agents, okay? The first guest speaker was Jeff Levitetz, and he's been my mentor for over 20 years, Cleveland Clinic's Man of the Year, top Forbes 150. He made literally 4 years in a row, largest privately held company in the state of Florida. He is the man when it comes to business, and great guy, all about giving back, gratitude, empathy, and he talks all about that on episode number 1. And then I have Gary Vaynerchuk on episode number 3. And Gary Vaynerchuk, I don't know if you've heard the name, but he's like the young version of Tony Robbins, okay? He, over 2,000 employees, he agreed to sit with me for an hour and be our guest speaker. He's going to talk all about using social media and driving traffic to your website and how to be relevant now and in the future. So I'm so excited about that. We're the same exact age, and he has a similar life story as me. I'm flying up to his office in New York City on March 19th, and I couldn't be any more excited than to bring all of this value and information to our agents. It's going to be freaking awesome, I promise you. Okay, so the Bill Levinson Experience, check it out. That's Jeff. That's episode number 1. That's my mentor in front of you, and that was one of my Positive Tuesday quotes, basically just talking about how important it is to have a mentor. Okay, moving forward here, we are talking now a little bit about Pack Life. You're going to hear some great stuff, like I said, from Carlin, and I wanted to show you where to go for information. So it's real neat. We put together all of these guides on our website, very easy to find. This is our 2019 updated non-med guide. Okay, and as you're seeing and hearing, there's more and more carriers now with better technology in the underwriting world are getting into these non-med higher limit products, which is great. But in my opinion, Pack Life is killing the game. And as you can see there, if you see on the right side highlighted in green, they go up to $1 million to age 69. Okay, they're one of the only companies that goes that high with that high of an age limit. So take a look at that when you get a chance. You can also stack some of these if needed. And then what we did, just for your convenience, we put together a section on our website just for Pack Life. You can go in, check out the different products, brochures. We have consumer pieces, all of the above. So when you're done and you want to get contracted, great. Take advantage of leads for contracting. So if you move over, if you're already appointed, you move over to Levinson, we will match or beat your existing grid. Plus, you get 3 free exclusive mortgage protection leads, no charge. Okay, if you are not contracted with PAC yet, we're going to send out a thank you email with the contracting link and leads for contracting incentive flyer. But for all of the information, just go to our website under Marketing PAC Life. Everything is at your fingertips. We made it very, very simple for you to find. Also, in the hybrid space, okay, long-term care, as you know, is a very, very hot, interesting, great part of our market that you can talk about because it's all about living benefits, right? Joe, there you go, perfect. So nowadays, these hybrid products are taking over. And the reason why, it's because most of the long-term care products have either raised premiums to the point where it's ridiculous, or these carriers have completely left the LTC space. Okay, but Pac Life has an exclusive product. We're one of the only shops that can offer this, called Premier Care. And what's really neat about this, it is a life with an LTC rider. It's a guaranteed whole life product. And what's neat about this is they offer full return of premium, and the product can work as an indemnity or full reimbursement program on the long-term care side. So really, really neat stuff. Back on the previous slide, That's where we have all of the brochures, and you can take a look at the product. We have some consumer pieces, and you can start marketing this product this afternoon. Now, Carlin's going to dive in, like I said, a little deeper, but I just wanted to let everyone know why I'm so excited about today's webinar. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce our friend Carlin Snipes from Pack Life. Carlin?
Thank you so much, Bill. Hello, everybody. I don't know about you guys, but I'm totally pumped. Are you sure you're not the motivational speaker, Bill?
One day.
Yeah. Just something to add before I jump into this presentation on the Premier Care product that Bill touched on. With that indemnity and reimbursement option, that is totally up to the client, and they do not have to choose until the point of claim, which is very unique in that marketplace. So the client might think when they buy it, they need indemnity. And then when they go on claim 20 years down the road, their spouse is the one looking at that policy and they see that haircut they're going to get if they choose indemnity. At that point, their spouse could choose reimbursement. So it's a really, really unique option out there in that hybrid space that you might not know about. Well, with that, I'd like to just jump in. Today, I'm going to spend a little bit of time with y'all talking about the Promise Term series as well as the GUL product that we just launched in the middle of December. And then I'm going to wrap up talking a little bit about our non-med program with our underwriting. If I can change the screen, see if my computer's going to let me. Okay, so I'm sure everybody on the line is very familiar with Pacific Life. One of the things I want to point out to you is that your clients are very, very familiar with Pacific Life. It's not something that you have to sell when it comes to a company they don't recognize. The brand is national scope. It's a very, very familiar and well-respected brand. We are a mutual company, if you didn't know that. And the thing about mutual companies is they're very, very obviously focused on the policyholder. They're not focused on the shareholder needs. They're focused on the policyholder needs. So it's a very, very unique company. Just a real quick look at our ratings, and I know that Bill mentioned we're A+. The only thing you're not going to see on this page is our Comdex, and our Comdex is 90. So I'm going to jump right into the PL Promise Term series. As Bill mentioned, we're extremely competitively priced. If you sold Genworth at any point in time, you probably sold the Colony Term series. This product, PL Promise Term, is that product. It's that exact product, just repriced and rebranded. So if you sold it in the past, it's going to be stepping right back into an old pair of shoes. So you'll be very used to it. We're going to be very competitive across ages 30 up to 70. We're going to target to be competitive either in the top 3 to the top 5 when you're looking at the pricing. And a lot of times when you look at that pricing from 1 to 5, you're talking pennies of the difference in the price. You can get a quality brand like Pacific Life for pennies on the dollar difference in the price. We do have a niche when it comes to substandard pricing. Up to table 6, we're going to be very competitive. A couple years ago, not last fall, but the fall before last, we actually changed our pricing on substandard. We dropped it from 25% a table to 20% a table. So much more competitive on the substandard pricing up to table 6. PL Promise Term does have a monthly modal factor advantage. So if you're looking at the product, you're spreadsheeting it, it's not as competitive as you'd like it to be on an annual basis. Take a look at it on a monthly basis because you're going to see that we're going to be extremely competitive on a monthly basis. This product does have a 25-year bucket, which we never had at Genworth. That's a new bucket for this product. Typically speaking, we're going to come out number 1 in that bucket. There's very few carriers there, so typically we're going to be number 1 in that space. We do have a very innovative conversion product, and I'm going to talk about that later in the presentation. It's got some features that no other carrier has when you're looking at conversion products. From an underwriting standpoint, we still have that select underwriting class that we had at Genworth. Pacific Life, if you don't know, acquired part of the Genworth block. And what I mean by that, they actually acquired the product, they acquired the underwriting platform, and they acquired the drop ticket that Bill mentioned. So we've got pieces from that platform. And the underwriting is exactly the same underwriting that we had when it was Genworth. It's exactly the same underwriting manual. Something to keep in mind with this product is we do go down to 50,000 in face, so that's a nice low 50,000 face amount that you can get in with this product. So as I mentioned, here are the durations. We have a 10-year duration, 15, 20, 25, and 30. Something that's different that at Genworth at the end, they required that you use a drop ticket if the face amount was less than 100,000 to get commissions. That doesn't matter with this product. Doesn't matter what the face amount is. You can do a drop ticket or you can do a full application. We're going to pay commissions. Don't have to worry about that. That was something that was unique to Genworth that is not applicable to this product at all. So regardless of which way you want to submit the application, regardless of what the face amount is, full commissions are payable. It's your choice. The riders that are available on this product, terminal illness is built into the product. You can purchase a child term rider with the product as well as waiver of premium. Now, I mentioned we do have a very unique conversion product. It has a privilege that allows you to convert either the earlier of the end of the level term period or either up to the client's age 70. So the thing that we did with this product came out in January of last year, and we wanted to make sure that it aligned from a pricing standpoint for us as a carrier, that it was profitable for you as the distributor, as well as it was within the policyholder's interest. So we wanted to make it a win-win-win for everybody involved. And so what we introduced with this product was an approach called early, mid, and late term conversions. I'm going to explain what I mean by that in the next slide or so, but it's very different and very unique when you're looking at conversion products out there today. But what this enables us to do is provide you up to 150% of your normal compensation on an early term conversion. And I'll define what an early term conversion is in just a moment. The other thing that's different with this product is in the third year of every PL Promise term that we sell, we're actively going to market to you as the distributor as well as the consumer to help drive these early term conversions. Now, our first product was issued in November of 2016, so we're coming up at the end of this year for the first 3 years of any of these products, so that marketing campaign will start at the end of this year. So this conversion product is a no-lapse guarantee UL product that you can dial down to age 85 or take out to 121. We do allow up to 2 partial conversions on the product. And there is a nice no-cost return of premium feature built into the product. I'll give you a rule of thumb, though. Typically, you're not going to get that return of premium unless you at least guarantee it to age 100. But the way it works is, let's say you have a client that has the policy and they need to convert it, but they only need to keep it for 15 years. And at the end of the 15-year period, they choose to surrender it. They can get up to 50% of their premiums back or 35% of the death benefit. If they keep it for 20 years and choose to surrender it at that point, they can get up to 75% of their premiums back or 35% of the death benefit. And if they keep it for 25 years, they can get up to 100% of their premiums back or 35% of the death benefit, whichever is the smaller of those two. Now, something to keep in mind when I talk about smooth sailing, the underwriting program. So if you've got a client that applies for PL Promise Term and is accepted under that non-med program, they can convert into this GUL product without ever having to done a paramed or exam. So I keep mentioning this early, mid, and late term conversion concept. This will give you a feel of what I mean. If we look at that first row, a Promise Term 10-year product. So if you sold a client a 10-year term, and you sat down with them in year 4 to have a conversation about a conversion, and they choose to convert at that point in time, that's considered an early term conversion, and we'll pay you up to 150% of your normal compensation. So whatever your normal comp is, you're going to get 150% of that. Now, let's say you didn't have that conversation until year 8. You waited until year 8 to have the conversation, and at that point, the client decided to convert. That's considered a midterm conversion. You're going to get 100% of your normal compensation. So whatever your normal comp grid is, you're going to get 100% of that. And let's see if you waited until year 10. Let's say the client just kept putting you off, and then in year 10, they tracked you down, and they decided they wanted to convert. Who typically waits to the last year to convert? Typically, it's someone that probably at that point it's uninsurable, so the mortality risk to the carrier is a higher risk. So what we're doing there is we're going to actually cut your compensation by 50%, and the client is actually going to pay slightly higher premiums, not just because they're older when they converted. There's a different pricing model in place for early and mid-term conversions versus late-term conversions to help cover that mortality cost that's associated with late-term conversions. But we're going to do everything we possibly can to drive those early term conversions to make it a positive experience for you as well as the consumer. So I'm going to jump from the PL Promise Term and the conversion product and touch base on our new GUL that came out in December. This is a no-lapse guarantee product that you can dial down to age 90 or take it out to 121. The issue ages are 0 through 80, and we do use age nearest birthday for that. Our minimum guarantee period is age 90, as I mentioned just a minute ago. We do have a very nice low face amount available on this product. You can go down to $25,000, which is really nice if you're working with anybody that's an older age client that's looking for a final expense product that can qualify for underwriting. This is a great option for someone in that age group, but also younger clients, juvenile clients, it's a good option for them as well because they cannot qualify for the higher face amounts, but you can get a nice $25,000 option for them. The product does offer a level death benefit option only. And if you look to the right-hand side of the screen there, you're going to see what our bands are by face amount. The policy does have a surrender charge. It's a 15-year, for the first 19 years. Typically, this is a death benefit play. It's not a cash accumulation play. So it's not a product that's going to build cash value, but you might have a situation where you did a 1035 exchange dump in, and that surrender charge is going to be applicable on that. So the riders that are available on this product are the same riders that were available on the term series. So again, you can do that child term rider. We do have a waiver of monthly deduction rider, as well as the terminal illness rider that's built in. The term rider, the child term rider, and the waiver of monthly is additional cost riders. This product, just like the conversion product, does have a return of premium feature. It works a little bit different than the conversion product. What you typically are having to see is you have to guarantee it to at least age 100 again to get it. But if the client is age 70, they have to guarantee it at least 30 years to get that return of premium feature built into the policy. It's not going to be available. The return of premium feature is not going to be available at lower face amounts, so 50,000 and lower, and also younger ages. It's not going to be available at the younger ages. If you look to the right-hand side, you'll see a chart over there that shows you the breakout based on the duration of the policy, the face amount, and the client's issue age. And when Bill was highlighting his website, this brochure is actually available on his website, and you can download the brochure and take a deeper look into it. The product will have a chronic illness rider added to it. It will be added in April. I believe the target date is April 25th. It's going to be a really nice add to this product. So more to come on that, but I'm really excited about having that added to this product. So I want to spend a little bit of time talking about the sweet spots when you're looking at pricing on this product. We're targeted to be most competitive to age 100 and then shorter guarantee periods to age 90. The sweet spot is easy. If you dial it down to 90, that's where we're going to be the most competitive. If you dial it down to age 100, that's where we're going to be second most competitive. And if you do a lifetime guarantee, that's number 3. And I'm going to show you in a minute some heat maps that highlight that. The face amount's $250,000 and above. We're going to be extremely competitive. I will say at launch, the average face amount is right at $100,000 because we're getting a lot of that smaller face that I mentioned for final expense and juvenile coverage. So we're getting a lot of $25,000, $50,000 cases. That's bringing that average face amount down. But from a pricing structure, $250,000 and above is where we're priced to be most competitive. You need to look at us on either a level pay option or a single pay option. We're going to be very competitive on both of those. Not so much. We're going to be less competitive if you're doing a limited pay, like say a 10 pay option. We're not going to be as competitive on a 10 pay option. Now, Bill mentioned this, and I mentioned it a little bit earlier about the Smooth Sailing program, which is our non-med program. It's available on this GUL product for ages 50 to 69, up to a face amount of $1 million. And what they're talking about there is that let's say you sold a client a PL promise term for $200,000. You could qualify for Smooth Sailing or our non-med program on the GUL product up to $800,000 because they're going to add those two. So whatever that client has in force with Pacific Life is going to come into play in that $1 million number. The key to this program is the client has to have seen their doctor in the past 18 months and had blood work done. If they've done that, they're between the ages of 50 and 69, and it's up to $1 million in face, they automatically qualify for Smooth Sailing. We're going to put them in that bucket, and we're not going to go after that paramed or the exam. What we are going to do is go after that APS, because that APS is going to have the information in it that we need to underwrite the case. So to me, it's very much a convenience play for the client. It's very different than the other carriers because it is older ages, but it's for every underwriting class. So let's say you have a 55-year-old who you know is a table 4. He can qualify for Smooth Sailing up to $1 million if he's seen his doctor in the past 18 months and had blood work taken. And whatever that blood work is, let's say they were just going in to get their cholesterol checked. That's fine. It's not, we're not looking for a life insurance panel. It's just whatever blood work that their doctor would normally do when they go and visit them. Another cool thing about this product you need to keep in mind is we do have an added consumer protection guarantee built into it. So if a client pays early up to 30 days, a month early or 30 days late, they're not going to lose their guarantee because they paid earlier or 30 days late. So 30 days early or 30 days late gives them that window to protect their guarantee on this product, which I think is a very nice feature. Because a lot of times, people paying annually might miss it by a little bit. As I mentioned, here are the heat maps. I'm going to talk a little bit fast because I know we're running out of time here. But I just wanted to highlight that I mentioned this is our third most competitive bucket. On the left-hand side, you're going to see $250,000. On the right-hand side, you're going to see $1 million. So you see on the full pay option and the single pay option, so the top and the bottom of the grid, that's where we're going to be the most competitive. Now, it's going to get greener on the next page. This is if you dialed it down to age 100. You're going to see us be more competitive, obviously, at age 100. Again, the 10 pay is pretty much that red color. We're not really competitive across the green except younger ages, higher face amounts. But Something that's interesting, if you've sold Genworth and you've sold Pacific Life at all in the past, this product is actually very competitive for smokers, which we normally are not priced that way. So I wanted to point that out because the term product is not priced that way. This is where we're going to get really green. So if you dial it down to 90, we're going to get really green. Again, we're very competitive on the full pay and the single pay, but we're going to pick up some green sales on the older ages for that 10 pay option. So don't rule us out if it's an older age person, you're guaranteeing it to 90 on the limited pay option, because we will be competitive there. Real quick, this is just a sample comparison so you can get a feel. The male standard 60-year-old full pay $1 million death benefit. For the lifetime guarantee, we're going to come out as number 2. So our premium is $19,200. Symetra is right there at $19,070. But we're going to come out number 1. If you move over across the page, if you guarantee it to age 90, we're going to be the most competitive premium out there. So real quick, I want to spend just a few minutes talking about our underwriting. I've mentioned the smooth sailing program. Bill has mentioned the smooth sailing program. Here's the qualifications. If the client meets these qualifications, they cannot get kicked out of our program. They're between the ages of 50 and 69, $1 million with Pacific Life or less. They've seen their doctor in the past 18 months and had blood work done. They automatically qualify for this program, and they're in it. We're not going to come back and say, oh, they can't qualify. The only reason that would ever happen is if they were wrong, that they hadn't actually seen their doctor in the past 18 months and had blood work done. That's the only thing I've seen with this. The client thinks they did it, but they didn't. So just keep that in mind. Just wanted to highlight in the last few minutes our sweet spots when it comes to our underwriting. We're extremely competitive on build. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to actually escape this. I'm going to show you this on this brochure that I really think does a really good job of highlighting our sweet spots. So I'm going to go up a little bit. So when you're looking at our build ages 0 to 64, if you have a body mass index of equal to or greater than 33, you can, less than 33, you can qualify for very, very attractive rates. And if you haven't looked at our build chart, you need to take a look at our build chart. It's extremely competitive through standard. We have a very, very, very good build chart. And I'll just give you an example. I'm 5'7". I can weigh 191 pounds and be preferred best. So just take a look at it. If you've got someone that maybe needs to be a little bit taller than they are wide, it's a very good competitive build chart. Total cholesterol up to 300, you can get preferred. Blood pressure, and I'm going to scroll down here. You can get preferred. You can actually get preferred best with depression. Usually what they're looking for is a limited amount of medications, 1 to 2 medications. Situational depression is a really good one there. If they haven't missed time for work and they've had no hospitalizations, I'll tell you the key to depression, the medications should be prescribed. They should get that prescription from their primary care physician. If it's coming from a psychiatrist, that's typically a different situation. Preferred is available for asthma, rheumatoid arthritis. I've seen cases preferred best with sleep apnea. When we're looking at mild sleep apnea, as long as they're fully compliant with their CPAP, typically we're looking for someone that's not a smoker. The build chart comes into play, obviously, with sleep apnea, but I've seen some very nice cases with sleep apnea. And just real quick, the last couple I want to highlight, recreational scuba diving up to 100 feet, you can still get preferred. Military, active military, regardless where they're going, they can qualify for all underwriting classes. The only thing that comes into play there is what they do in the military. So the example they're providing is if they're a demolition expert, obviously we're going to underwrite for that. If they're a fighter pilot, we're going to underwrite for that. But we're not going to hold it against them that they're active in the military. Foreign travel, they can travel up to 4 consecutive weeks outside the United States, and we will not require a travel supplement. So if I travel 2 weeks to Timbuktu, come back to the United States, travel 2 weeks somewhere else, that's not 4 consecutive weeks. As long as it's less than 28 consecutive days, you do not have to complete that foreign travel supplement. And then lastly, aviation, we're very competitive there. As long as they're instrument flight rated 150 hours or less, pleasure flying only, not a corporate pilot, but pleasure flying. So just a really quick highlight of our sweet spots. I'm going to wrap up with one thing really quick and hand it back over to Bill and Joe, just so you have this information. There's our sales team. So I am the 4th person over, and Brian Bullockaitis there on the left is my boss, and Ivy Noel is our internal wholesaler based out of Lynchburg, Virginia. So I'm going to hand it over because I think I've got 3 minutes left.
That was great. Awesome job. I think you're the motivational speaker, Carlin. And I think everyone loves your accent better than mine. So I think you're in. All right. That was great. Yeah, exactly. That was awesome. Thank you so much. So we have just a few more slides, and then we're gonna wrap it up. And I think everyone will want to hear what I'm about to say here. So you love what you just heard from Carlin. She was great. Obviously, the company, the products, the technology are all great. Again, if you're appointed now and you want to come over to Levinson, take advantage of the free orphans. And then when you transfer your contract, you come over to Levinson, we will match or beat. Most of the time we beat your existing commission, plus you'll get the orphans when you write the app and 3 free exclusive mortgage protection leads that can turn into big dollars, as we all know. So Joe's going to send out that thank you email and take advantage. He'll give you the contracting link and then the leads for contracting flyer, so you can take advantage of all incentives. And then what we want to show you real quick, Joe's going to take the wheel and just explain where you need to be in 2019. It's one day, okay? One day out of the year, we want you in South Florida, and Joe's going to tell you the reason why. Joe, you there?
Yeah, thanks, Bill. So this is our annual Agent Expo. We have one every single year. This year, it is Friday, May 10th, down here in sunny South Florida. This is an absolutely free event for you to attend. We bring in all of our top carriers and really focus on sales ideas, sales concepts, and kind of growing and elevating your practice to the next level. So as you can see from some of the pictures here, it is smack on the beach at a beachfront resort. We have some of our top speakers. This year's keynote speaker is Joe Ross, who's really, in my opinion, one of the best speakers when it comes to life insurance products and selling. This is really a day I think everybody must attend. Again, it's free for everyone. It's basically 9 to 5. Lunch is provided. If you're an out-of-town agent, you can come in the day before, but just a great day to really kind of learn where to take your practice and how to grow for the upcoming year. So every single year we host this event. You know, we have 300 plus agents in attendance, and we always hear from everybody that they are able to take away some sales idea, some concept that helps them make more sales and make themselves a better agent, even as soon as that weekend. So definitely a day you do not want to miss. In my email that you received this afternoon, there'll be a link to kind of check out all the guest speakers and what's happening on Friday, May 10th. You can even register right from that link. So definitely a day that you don't want to miss. If you don't want to wait until May, we have some great upcoming training events. Bill's going to dive into the agency automator platform on our next slide here, but just keep in mind we have trainings every single day at 2 p.m. on this completely exclusive platform. Monday, we go over a live demo on how to keep your name in front of clients that don't even know who you are. That's the AssureWorks platform. Tuesday, we dive into our free agent website builder. Wednesday, the complete CRM demo platform to show you how to use a CRM platform to grow your business. Thursday, how to find local prospects using the prospecting tool. And then Friday, best practices. This is our newest edition every single Friday at 2 p.m. to that training calendar. This is basically to show you what other agents have done to really make themselves successful using this CRM platform. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You basically can join those webinars. They're all done in real time. You can ask questions directly with the people who create and run the CRM platform. Real quick, next week, Tuesday the 19th at 2 p.m., we're actually covering a brand new quoting engine through CarrieLevinson.com. Not only can you run term, universal life products, you can also use an online underwriting tool to kind of underwrite your clients instantly and actually see cash value products in one simple quote in a matter of seconds. You can see short pay scenarios, full pay, 10 pay, even the cash value at different lengths down the road. So a really, really phenomenal update to our quoting system. Again, it's integrated with our e-application system. And then next Thursday, which is the 21st at 2 p.m., we're covering top DI sales ideas. In fact, that first 50 people to register for that webinar are going to be sent a free DI sales book, which gives you about 100 pages of ways to generate new leads that have been proven through years and years of disability sales. So a great, great outcome for next week. We've got, again, Tuesday and Thursday. I'll send you those links this afternoon in that email so you can register and join just like you are today.
Okay, thanks, Joe. So our second to last slide, we're done in literally 2 minutes. So just sit tight real quick. Agency Automator updates. That is our turnkey marketing platform. Okay, now I'm going to just say this. if you don't mind being average and being okay and saying, I'm just going to work on my existing book and then I'll retire and then I'm pretty much done in the industry, that's fine. Okay, we're not pointing fingers, and if that works for you and you're happy, great. Okay, but if you want to grow your business, okay, and I don't care if you're 17 or you're 78 or you're 86, which, by the way, some of our most productive agents are in their 70s and 80s. So there is no excuses. My grandma has a Facebook page, okay? So no more excuses. If you want to grow, you have to learn, okay? And we have all of those trainings every single day of the week that we put together for you, and they're all live where you can jump in and ask questions. They're not like this where it's a closed call because of the number of attendees. They're open calls that are built to help you learn. If you want to have your assistant or secretary on the phone with you or downline agents, no problem. They're all free, and they are built to help you get comfortable with the technology, okay? And Agency Automator, that's our turnkey platform. It's available to all of you. If you want to learn how to set up target marketing where, someone runs a search in South Florida for long-term care insurance, you want your name and business card to pop up online and then follow that person around from website to website, we have that system, okay? If you want a CRM tool to help you keep your name in front of your existing clients and new prospects and friends and neighbors, that's free. We have that with a website builder that gives you a free website. That's all no charge, okay? We have so many tools. We have even the Agency Automator Plus setup, which allows you to go in and recruit downline agents. You can literally put in your zip code and say, okay, I want to work with these demographics in this particular zip code, and I want to find agents between the ages of 30 and 50, or I want to find prospects between the ages of 30 and 50 in this specific area code. We have the system that spits out consumers so you could start to call or mail or email or all the above. We even have a VIP program that does all of this marketing for you. You don't have to do anything. All you do is once a month, you call our VIP host and you go over what you want him to market this month. It could be long-term care, could be IUL, mortgage protection, final expense, anything that you want. If you're having a webinar or seminar, he will actually call all of your clients, prospects, friends, and neighbors and invite them to your seminar or your webinar, okay? And then what you do is give away the free scholarship to everyone that attends your webinar or seminar. So there's so many neat ways to do this, and I know it's a lot and it's mind-boggling, but what we're going to do is we're sending out the infographic today that's going to be in that same thank you email, and all of our resources are going to be right there so you can dive in and see what works for you. If you're into mortgage protection, final expense, fine. If you're into estate planning and retirement products like IUL and annuities and long-term care, no problem. We have all of that here as well. In fact, Josh Hoffman is a advanced marketing design person that's a CLU CHFC here to help you, okay, with those tough to explain cases. If you need the extra hand-holding, no problem. Okay, we have everything here for you, but you have to take advantage of this stuff. All right, let's move on. Enough of the rant. We're going to end with this. We have our Positive Tuesday slide. Obviously, today's Thursday, and it's Valentine's Day, but we wanted to add every single Positive Tuesday, which falls on Tuesdays, of course. We have our quotes that are up on all of our social media pages and our website page. This was our quote from last Tuesday. We'll end with this note. I love ending things on a high level. I think it's so important that all of us, okay, day in and day out, are in that special place where you're in a good mood and you're positive and people want to talk to you on the phone or in person because you're always up, and there's just something about you that they can't explain, but they like being around you. Okay, that's not going to happen if your head is always down and your shoulders are hunched over. Nobody wants to be around people like that. So do whatever it takes to get in that zone day in and day out, because that is what's going to help you make sales. Okay, remember that. It really shouldn't matter if you fail once or 100 times. You are only considered a failure after giving up. And then I have the hashtag at the bottom, failing is learning. And that's so true, okay? There's nothing wrong with trying things over and over and over and learning with every step, okay? But to fail completely, okay, is to look the other way and start in a different industry or go down a different road. So the point is, keep trying. Eventually, it's going to hit. Have a great Valentine's Day, great rest of the week, and great selling. Take care.